All right, let's get right down to it. Have you ever really thought about what you're made of? I mean, not the big stuff, but the absolute most fundamental building blocks. Today, we're going to go microscopic, and I mean really microscopic, to explore the very foundation of, well, you, me, and pretty much every living thing on this planet.
So yeah, let's peel back all the layers. I'm talking past the skin, past the bone, past anything you can actually see with your own eyes. What are you, at your absolute most basic level? Well, the answer is something so tiny, it's basically invisible. But at the same time, it's so powerful that it's responsible for all life as we know it.
And that something is the cell. The analogy we've got here is just perfect. Think about it. If your body is a house, then cells are the individual bricks. You just can't build the house without the bricks, right? They are the absolute starting point for everything that lives, period.
So it's one thing to know about them now, but how in the world did we even figure this stuff out? To understand that, we got to look back at where it all started.
You know, this wasn't an overnight discovery. It took a long time. It starts back in 1665 with a guy named Robert Hooke. He looks at a thin slice of cork under a microscope and sees these little empty boxes, which he calls cells. But the real game changer? That was Antony von Leeuwenhoek. He looks at a single drop of pond water and sees it's just alive. It's teeming with these tiny little creatures. I mean, can you imagine seeing that for the first time? This incredible moment eventually led to what we now call the cell theory, which is basically a cornerstone of all biology.
But here's where it gets really, really cool. Cells aren't just a random jumble. Nope, they're super organized. They build on each other in this clear hierarchy. So you have cells getting together to form tissues. Then different tissues team up to make organs, like your heart or your lungs. Those organs then form organ systems. And when all those systems work together, boom, you get a whole organism, you. It's like this amazing biological assembly line. And it all starts with that one single cell.
Okay, so let's zoom in even closer. We're going inside the cellular city, because a single cell isn't just some simple little blob. Oh no, it's way more like a busy, microscopic city, complete with all these different departments, which scientists call organelles, all working together perfectly to keep the whole operation running.
First up, border control. I mean, every city needs a border, right? And the cell has one of the best. It's called the cell membrane, and it basically acts as the gatekeeper. The official term is selectively permeable, but really, just think of it like a super strict bouncer at a club. It checks IDs, lets the good stuff, like nutrients, in, and kicks the trash out.
Next up, we've got the nucleus, which is basically City Hall. This is the command center, the big boss. Why? Because this is where the DNA is stored. And the DNA is the master blueprint for everything. It tells the cell what to do, what to become, how to work, when to divide, literally everything.
Now, a city this busy needs a ton of energy to run, right? That's where the mitochondria come in. These are the power plants. Their job is to take the fuel, the nutrients, and turn it into usable energy, a molecule called ATP. And get this is not a small job. Your body actually recycles its own weight in ATP every single day. That's insane. Without these little power plants, the whole city would just go dark.
So where is all this happening? Where are all these little city departments located? Well, they're all floating around in the cytoplasm. Just picture this jelly-like stuff that fills the cell. It's like the city grounds. It's the space where all these organelles we've been talking about live and do their very important jobs.
So, okay, one cell is a whole complex city, which is amazing. But where life gets truly incredible is when these little cities start talking to each other and teaming up. This is where we hit the next level of organization. And that next level is called a tissue. A tissue is basically just a group of similar cells all working together to do one specific job. The work crew analogy is perfect. You've got your muscle cells acting like the construction crew, your nerve cells are like the electricians. They're all specialists teaming up for the big project, which is you. Now, it's really important to remember that not all life is built the same way. And that brings us to plant versus animal design. The way a plant cell is built is actually pretty different from an animal cell, and there's some really good reasons why.
And this comparison right here really shows off a core idea in biology. Form follows function. Think about it. Plants don't move around, right? They need to be rigid and strong to stand up and reach for sunlight. So they have a tough, boxy cell wall. But animals? We need to move, to hunt, to run away, to find things. So our cells don't have that wall.
They have a flexible membrane. It's such a smart design, where every little difference is there for a reason, for survival. And all this specialization gives us this huge variety of tissues. In plants, you've got tissue that's just for growth, pushing the plant taller and wider. You've also got their xylem and phloem, which is basically the plant's plumbing system for moving water and food around. For us animals, we've got epithelial tissue, which is our skin, our protective outer layer. And then we have connective tissue, like bone, which gives us the entire framework that holds us up.
So when you take a step back and just look at the whole thing, one idea really stands out, doesn't it? Life is all about cooperation. From the tiny organelles working inside one cell, all the way up to the trillions of cells that make up your body, it's all teamwork. It's just the ultimate team sport, really.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. We've talked about the bricks, the cells. We've talked about the specialized workers, the tissues. But if cells are the building blocks, what's the blueprint? What tells them how to build everything in the first place? Well, that is a story for another time. Thanks for listening.